Good afternoon, everyone. Today I am just out in the garden doing some harvesting. We have corn that's coming in and needs to be processed. I generally just blanch that really quick and then freeze it. And we also have grapes that are coming in that I need to pick. I'm going to take some over to my mom later today. So I wanted to pick some of those and get all that squared away, and I thought I would take you with me. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and hit that subscribe button to see more like it. All right, let's get picking. This is my second year growing corn. Last year I didn't get to pick it as early, and so it was a little bit, is that kind of sticky corn. I still blanched it, froze it, and used it in things like soups and things like that you couldn't tell the texture as badly. But this year I'm harvesting it on time and we'll be processing it on time. Those are the sheep complaining that they're not out here in the garden with me. And harvesting it on time and processing it on time so that we can use it in a more diverse setting of recipes rather than just soup. So let's get started. That corn is ready to harvest is you look at the silks at the top, and when they have turned brown completely, then it's ready to harvest. So for this one, you can see that the silks are brown and they are ready to be picked. So we'll just pop this off, and that's when I use my snippers. And then if we open this up, we can see what it looks like. So that is a beautiful ear of corn. That's absolutely gorgeous. Very happy with that. And we're just gonna pick the rest of them. So the rest of these that are left on the plant are fairly small, and the silks aren't quite brown enough, not as brown as I would like at least. So I am going to leave them on the stalk for just a couple more days, but we have plenty in the basket to process. In order to process all of these, all I do is remove the husks and all of the silks, and then I boil them for just a few minutes and then put them in an ice bath. And then once they're cool enough to handle, I use a knife to cut off all the kernels on all sides and bag those kernels up and freeze them. Something I want to just warn you about before you even start: you'll want everything in place before you start shucking the corn. So you'll want your cutting board to cut off the kernels, you'll want your ice bath, and you'll want your boiling water up to temperature and ready to go. Otherwise, you're gonna be scrambling while the corn's boiling to get the ice bath going, and it just makes everything a lot more hectic and a little less successful, coming from personal experience. So just get everything started beforehand, and then you'll be ready to go, and it'll be a smoother operation. Something interesting I actually learned from my husband, who looked it up when we grew corn last year, is these kernels are all individually connected to an individual silk that then needs to be pollinated. When it isn't pollinated, you get undeveloped kernels like this, and that is what causes that to happen, is the unpollinated silks. So I thought that was pretty interesting. I would recommend shucking your corn directly over the trash can with all of the little silks. If you do it over a counter or something like that, the silks can get everywhere and they're really hard to get rid of sometimes because they don't wipe up very easily. So I would just recommend doing it over a trash can or over a container that you can then put in the trash can. So if you have a paper bag or something like that, that would work as well. For me, the easiest way to shuck corn is to take the silks, pull them apart in two, and tear it all the way down. You'll then get to the base of the husk where the corn connects, and you can just pop it right off. You want to be careful though, because if you pop it off too high, you'll leave a lot of your corn cob on the stalk. Can you see all these silks going everywhere like confetti? I'm trying to hold these up higher so that you can see what I'm doing. But that makes the silks go everywhere. So there is little tiny hairs of corn silk just littering the floor over here. I'll be doing a kitchen cleanup after this project. Another gorgeous one, look at that. Some of ours, because we grow such a small crop, some of our corn doesn't all get pollinated. So that's when we get those little kernels that are underdeveloped and are not usable. That just happens oftentimes when your harvest or your plant numbers are small. So it can happen, you know, to the best of us, so don't feel bad. So this is a very good example of one that was not well pollinated. As you can see, there's still a lot of silks on here and my hands are covered in silk, so don't mind the aesthetics, but if you can see that, all of those are unpollinated kernels that the silks just didn't get pollinated. So it's still good. I'm still gonna blanch it because there's still a ton of pollinated kernels on it that are totally usable. But that is what happens when the silks aren't pollinated. Oh my gosh, I wish I could show you all of the silks that are all over the floor, but I don't want to take the time to do that. I just want to show you how I do the corn. So just trust me when I say clean it and husk it over a trash can. I'll now let this cook for about 2 minutes. 2 to 3 minutes is what you need. I prefer on the lower end. It remains more crunchy and fresh to me. So I cook it for about 2 minutes and then I will put it in an ice bath that I have prepared on the other counter, and I will use that to cool it off a bit, and then I will cut it on the cutting board. Now that I have removed all of the corn kernels, I'm going to put them in freezer bags and put them in the freezer. All the dogs are in here because removing corn kernels are a little messy. It's a little bit of a messy job. So there's some corn kernels on the floor that the dogs are helping me clean up. I hope you enjoyed today's video. It was fun for me to do, and I needed to get out and do the corn before it got overripe and then it gets that sticky texture, so I'm glad you could come with me. If you liked this video, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe, and I will see you in the next video.